afternoon, YouTube world. I'm your host, Paul Italia. If you haven't already, please make sure you subscribe to my channel. So I got the guy that's been all up in the news in the arm wrestling of late. RVJ, what is up, brother? How you doing tonight?
Hey, I'm doing good, man. Just kicking it, chilling out tonight, playing it low key. I got this thing popping up on my screen. Yeah, I got it. All right. Yeah, just chilling out, man. It's all good.
Very nice. So this weekend, we got a big event going down in Dubai, set up by Core Sports, Adam Silver, Larry Wheels. We got King of Table. It's a couple of matches on there. Just wanted to get your predictions and what you think is going to go down. First match being Pavlo versus Sabin. Just wanted to get your thoughts on that match.
That's a tough one because I haven't seen a lot of Sabin recently, but I know his big claim to fame is, I guess, like somewhere like 10 years ago or some shit. He beat Levan, and he's been hanging on to it. And I do think that he pulled Travis, and I don't know if he got that win, but Travis popped his pack or something or wanted out or whatever. Strikes me as a little bit of a loose cannon. Well, Pablo is just like a big, strong guy that's kind of quiet, but if I was guessing, I'm gonna guess Sabin might take his hand. I think Sabin might be a little too much worldly experience. Pablo's a strong guy, but I think for that weight class, he's at that level, the risk might be a little suspect. I mean, he's probably like a gatekeeper to that higher level. And then like Sabin might be the guy who snuck in the door and is just kind of in the club drinking the drinks, and Sabin's trying to, Pablo's like kind of the doorman. He's not quite in there yet.
Yeah, I heard the same thing with Sabin. I know I've been in the sport 3 years and I haven't got to see him compete. But just like you said, the claim to fame, he has that famous pin on Levan, but that was before Levan turned into the mutant he is today. So,
of course. I mean, that guy's gaining like 10% body weight a year, so it's really hard to keep pace with that. And of course, when somebody blows up, it's like, I bet you there's some asshole out there that's still talking about dunking on Michael Jordan in high school. But I mean, that's really, not relevant for where Michael Jordan landed. So I do think that the way Sabin pulls and his experience is going to be a trouble for Pavlo, but that's not saying that I'd be surprised if it went the other way. I mean, he is a strong guy, did really well with Brzenk. I just think that the hand control is going to be a problem.
Yeah, I got to know Pavlo. I threw him in a couple super matches. He was in Oklahoma with us. Very strong guy. I see him putting up these videos. I mean, he's benching in high 400s, making it look easy, doing reps with it. Dude's got a lot of table knowledge. So he's definitely a reputable arm wrestling. Just like I said, I really don't know much about Sabin, so I'm really interested for this match. You actually have a prediction score-wise, what you think? It's going to be 6 rounds.
I actually think that Sabin will probably be pretty conditioned. I think he's hungry to get on the stage. And I think if he wins the first one, he's going to sweep it 3-0. And I'm going to say that he'll win the first one. So I'm guessing 3-0.
Well, it's 6 rounds, so it would have to be
6?
Yeah.
Then I'll say 6-0 unless somebody gets sloppy and it falls into a hook. And I understand how strong Pavlo is, but I just think that a guy who has control and wins the match, the guy who's trying everything from a shitty position, he just degrades faster. Unless you're a guy like Crazy George or Michael Todd or some of these guys who wedge and use different locks and stuff.
Okay, so you guys heard it. 6-0 is RVJ's prediction on that one. Moving on to the next match, we got John the Goat Brzenk, and he's got his hands full that day going against Denis Cyplenkov. And Denis is making his big comeback, and boy, is he looking strong. I saw a lot of the pictures coming from Dubai. Dude is just looking like a mutant, man. Guy is so jacked and everything. So do you think John's table savvy is going to be enough to take on that extreme power of Denis Cyplenkov?
To be fair, people use like savvy and technique and little words like that make strong guys that lose feel good. I mean, let's not discount how strong John Brzenk is everywhere. I mean, he might not have the physical presence of the mutant of Denis, but he didn't win by trickery all these years. He's been flat out stronger than the guys he's beating for the most part as well. Do I think that today, where John is today and where Denis is, it's really an interesting story because Denis is like, back from the dead almost, right? This guy was in tough shape not long ago. And then he kind of, been creeping around the arm wrestling scene. And now all of a sudden he's getting in shape pretty quick. And John's been on a good run. He's coming off of the last 2 losses, which I really think he could have won both of those. I mean, I really think he could have beat Ongarbayev, and I really, really think he could have beat Irakli. But, you get enough wear and tear on your arm. You see some of the practice videos. We can all read into that. Denis looks, who knows what the propaganda and hype is, right? Because Denis is a big draw. How strong is Denis? But I think that he seems very strong, but I think he's strong in the ways that John's good at negating too. He likes to use his hand and control people and really get on someone's wrist and shut down their pronation. And John happens to be really good in that angle. So even a kind of off-kilter John, I think, always poses a threat for Denis. I just don't know where Denis is now and where John is. All we can do is this is a real speculation match.
So do you have any prediction what the outcome's going to be on this one?
I think they're going to dogfight it, and I think they might even split hairs. They might go to a silver bullet. Okay. I think John might be able to take the leverages and be a little bit better on the enduring round, even though he thought endurance was a problem with Irakli. I don't think it was too much of a problem. And I don't think Denis is going to come with the same type of angles and just relentless drive that Irakli did with John. I think he'd be sitting on his bicep and getting just as tired.
Okay. So when it goes to that silver bullet round, who do you have winning the outcome of that?
Man, I'm going with I think Denis is probably going to win it if what we are seeing on the internet is true. We all know how that shit works. You can't really trust the internet, but based on common opponents and trainings and we're just trying to do figure guys out from afar and make a prediction. I mean, really, it might not be 3-3. It could be a blowout. I think Denis will win it. I'm giving 3-3 in respect to John's ability. But where is he, when we think of John at that 100% guy, where is he from, the retired version to the best version? Somewhere in the middle there. It just depends on where he's at.
Yeah, I went out on a limb and I predicted Denis 4-2. And I hope I'm wrong with that because I'm rooting for John and all. But, I just think Denis is just going to be too overwhelmingly powerful. I mean, that dude is one of the strongest guys on the planet and all. I know he's making his comeback, but, he's only 42 years old, I believe. And, John being 58 these days, I think it's going to really be a big mountain for John to climb. But I hope I'm wrong on that one.
Yeah. Your prediction sounds about right. But, again, the way Denis is structured and how he pulls, I think is very good. John kind of made his legacy pulling dudes like that in, bigger, maybe even body stronger in his younger days. Guys that were very powerful coming across like Richard Lukes and Clev Deans with super big, strong hands and stuff. So I think pulling guys like that and being that giant slayer is almost a comfort zone for him. And he's so used to people running away from him that it might be scary. It might be an easier day when somebody actually commits to gripping him and coming to him and not playing fuck around games. It might be, another match I won't really be surprised on because Denis is just coming back. Denis isn't that guy that he was 10 years ago. The guy did, tippy toe left and right on death's door from what I understand.
So now we go to the main event match. We got Ermes Gasparini, the Italian stallion, and he is going against the Georgian Hulk, Levan. What's your prediction on this one?
Yeah, I think Levan's going to sweep it 6-0. I guess with Ermes' style, they say if someone can do it right now, I mean, I don't know. Ermes just has a way about him that kind of rubs me off a little bit. He just, and I can't help but think that even though it wasn't this, he's another guy though that's, he fell into the same chemical waste pit that Levan did. He fell into the same fucking pit. He doubled his body weight in a very short amount of time. So we don't know. I mean, I remember like when he was the guy who came over to WAL and got smacked up by Matt Mask. I want to say he was in that like 220, 230 range. Then they had the rematch. He was like 245. And I thought, wow, that was big. And then next thing you know, keeps going. Now he's damn near 300. So we really can't tell. I know that not long ago, or maybe time just flies, Alex Cadorette was able to pop his wrist and beat him in a super match. A lot of people forget that. I feel bad for that dude, right? Because he stomped Ermes. I mean, literally whipped his ass. And everybody still talks about Ermes, but nobody's talking about Alex. Like, how did he become, redheaded stepchild? So, I mean, Ermes might be great. He might be stronger. He might have leveled up. He might be there. But I can't look past the fact that somebody that's a good notch, less experienced, and in a little weaker in all the areas, went like 6-0 with Ermes. So, I mean, he would have had to do some incredible ground gaining to beat Levan.
Yeah, I also had it 6-0, but I did throw that possibility of a 5-1, meaning that Ermes surprises him one round with a quick flash. It's the only thing I got to say about Ermes, coming from that lightweight, these guys are very technical and they're very fast, and he moves a lot quicker than a normal super heavyweight. So I was thinking it's a possibility he might be able to sneak that one round in there. Then Levan's going to make that transition, and I don't think it's going to go good for Ermes after that.
Now, yeah, there is an asterisk I'd like to put onto my prediction as well in that lane. I think that Ermes is probably better conditioned and more comfortable in a dogfight. People who like Levan, well, first we did see Ongarbayev kind of flat in Levan when they did the top 8. He kind of got him flat. So there is a lane there that if Ermes is like 10% stronger, that he could possibly flatten or take his hand. And now Levan's in a dogfight. And here's a guy who said he wants to win every round. He doesn't want to win every super match. He doesn't want to lose a single round. And he's putting a lot of pressure on himself to, go get that knockout instead of just winning the fight. And if he loses a round, like, he's not used to being in the losing side or in dogfights, maybe in years past, but now he's used to being the slayer. And I think emotionally and physically, he might collapse if he gets into a dogfight and actually gets a pin thrown on him. I think that if Ermes gets a pin at any point, he's really, really in that fight to go win the rest of them.
Can you still see me on your screen? I think it.
Yeah, I can see you. You just switched angles.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
the shoulders look better from this angle. You're a little more capped this way.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. So the one thing is Ermes is known for his hand strength, I'm hearing, so that is one of his strengths. So he might be able to give Levan's hand a little some, but I mean, I've heard from Corey West, who's also got a hand like a softball, trying to grip Levan is pretty crazy when you actually grip up with him. So it's going to be really, really hard for Ermes to take that hand.
Yeah. I mean, because worst case scenario, they end up in the straps and then they're tied, and then it comes down to, nuances there. I mean, I'm thinking Levan's going to be 6-0. I would love in this. It's fucked up because I don't want to parade either one of them. You know what I mean? I'm not a real big fan of either one of the movements, but I would like Ermes to do it just so it's not this. There's this, aura around Levan right now that he's untouchable until he decides to quit. And sports are built on upsets, and so oftentimes number one is only like 1% ahead of number 2, or not even. You know what I mean? People in the Olympics, the guy who wins the 100-yard dash is only like 0.2 of a second ahead of the guy who took number 10. You know what I mean? So sometimes the gap seems bigger than it is. And I hear people say things and profess things. And as a fan that, likes to see the field be balanced a little bit, I'd like to see the upset, but I don't know if I could handle, him being the dude to do it.
Well, I got to say this, bro. I'm rooting for Ermes right now because me being a good friend of Jerry and I'll be in his corner for the next match. He is going against Ermes in that East versus West. So if Ermes gets this win, Jerry's going for number one in the world. So I'm kind of a little favoritism to Ermes right now.
Yeah, well, I can see the agenda. I think Ermes is a little bit of a problem for Jerry's style. I think Jerry will fuck him up if it stops in a top roll. But I think Ermes is like he did with Dave. He is quick at throwing the shoulder on top of it. So Jerry will have to work with that.
One thing I got to say is Jerry has been, I got him back into the sport. You know, he took that 3-4 year break. And, you know, I was the guy that kind of lit the fire on his ass. And the first match that he wanted was Ermes. He's wanted that from day one. So he's pretty confident in going against Ermes. I hope he's not too confident with that.
Yeah, I mean, I'd love to see Jerry do it. Jerry's done a lot of weird shit that I didn't think a person should be able to do. And, you know, he's done that many times before where he comes out of a layoff and he shoots for number one, and the people who don't know who he is thinks he's some crazy person, and you just want to shoot for it. And, you know, he's done it, you know, so why not? I mean, fuck it. It's arm wrestling. All you can do is lose.